Cats of Freedom. Join us each week and in this final hour as we cough up furballs of truth from the baloney we've digested throughout the week from the Fat Cat News. Well, it seems we've been digesting baloney about how we deal with money and banks since the beginning of our country. It seems that if a nation and its people don't control the money, they can pretend all they like that they are free, but they really aren't. Stephen Zarlenga draws on 35 years of experience in the world of finance, securities, insurance, mutual funds, real estate, and futures trading. He has published 20 books on money, banking, politics, and philosophy. While in his mid-20s, he incorporated the Athenian branch of an English life insurance company, earlier opening several European markets for the parent firm IOS. A few years later, he built the U.S. distribution network of the then leading American mutual fund concentrating in gold shares. As a member of the New York Futures Exchange, a subsidiary of the New York Stock Exchange, he specialized in trading the complex CRB, that's Commodity Research Bureau Futures Index, for several years. So everybody, Stephen is more than familiar with both the practical and theoretical sides of our market economy. Dr. Michael Hudson, who fortunately is being interviewed more lately and was in the last issue of Counterpunch, wrote about Stephen's The Science of Money, his book. The history of money is critical to understanding the greatest problem the third millennium will face. Stephen Zarlenga's Lost Science of Money book provides the needed background for seeing the basic structural issues at work. Stephen and his colleagues are dedicated to demystifying money because, quote, if it had to be summarized in one sentence, it is that by misdefining the nature of money, special interests have often been able to control a society's monetary system and then, of course, in turn, control society itself. So money started out being a way of exchanging goods, I guess. I'm going to ask Stephen. Stephen, are you there?
Yes. Hi, Di.
Hi. I'm Di, and Dave is with
Hello,
me.
Stephen.
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Glad to talk to you.
Problems arose,
Glad to be here.
right away when people just wanted to start then, making money from money. I mean, in the history of money, it started out, well, you had to try to exchange goods somehow, and that seemed to be okay. But then when people just started,
It's interesting, Di, and you hit on an important part of this, and that is misusing money, using it for a purpose for which it was not created. And believe it or not, one of the first people to point this out that we know of is Aristotle, the Greek philosopher in the 4th century B.C. And his great contribution to humanity at that point was to define the science of money. And he did that by definitions. And his approach is and conclusions, the ultimate in Greek thought, summed up in one sentence. Money exists not by nature, but by law. So he's saying a number of things there. Money's not something that comes out of a mine. It's not a grain or a product that comes out of a farm. It doesn't come out of nature. It's a creature of the law. We decide what money is. We can control it through the law. And that's the key concept. Now, what that means is he's differentiated between money and wealth. And that's so important, so important. And that's not even being done consistently today. There are a lot of people who are confusing money and wealth. And even worse, I would say, or more dangerous for themselves and the society, they're confusing money with an investment. And the fact is, Diane and Dave, you have very different requirements for an investment than you have for money. A good money should be stable. A good investment you usually want to go up. You don't want money going up. And this is one of the confusions that exists out there. It's one of the so-called reform approaches, which is to try to make gold money, to try to base a money system on gold. We've been through that so many times. Humanity has been through that so many times, and it has always ended up in the same failed way. And despite the propaganda on it, and the key to understand is if you define money as wealth, then who's going to control the money system? The people with the wealth. They're not only going to control their own assets, their own investments, their own things, they're going to control the monetary system. And the monetary system, especially when misused, as you see it misused today, can allow absolute obscene concentrations of wealth to develop. That's what's happened now.
Does wealth mean a whole bunch of stuff?
Wealth is usually tangible.
Oh, okay.
Wealth is essentially tangible. Money, in its highest form, is an intangible legal power of society. That's the basic difference. Now, so if you define money as wealth, you're handing the power over to the wealthy. That's never a good idea, because they think they know what's good for the society, but they really know what helps themselves, and they don't hesitate to put that into effect in public policy. If you make a different mistake, what we're doing now around the world, and you define money as credit, which is essentially what our system does, then you handed the control to the financial and banking establishment, because that's their area of operation. They deal in credits. If you properly define money as an abstract legal power of society, then there is a chance that the society itself, through law, will control the money system to benefit the general population. What's the word from the Constitution right at the beginning? To promote the general welfare.
So now, that would mean, like, when I've been reading your essays that are excerpts, a lot of them are excerpts from your book. That means human infrastructure that we may want, like education and healthcare, and then concrete infrastructure like roads, and we decide then. You mean we decide what to do with the money? Well,
we do. Now, in America, those decisions have been privatized since the Federal Reserve System, 1913. And it only took the Fed 20 years to totally wreck America. By 1933, America was in ruins as a result of the Federal Reserve System. And essentially, it privatized the money power. The money power being the privilege or power to create the money supply. And at this time, this is in the hands of the banks. It's in the hands of the financial establishment. People think that our money is created by our government, but it's not. It's created when banks make loans into their clients' accounts. Essentially, they're creating new money. Now, there are some idiots out there who will argue, oh, that's not really money. Well, the point is, it functions just like money in our society. If a bank has credited your account with their credit, you can write a check on it, and your checks are the same as money in this society. So people think it's the government creating the money supply. It's not.